Government decries $35,000 business registration fee for Nigerians in Egypt. European markets climb as January trading comes to an end. Major Asia indices jump at least 1%. Plus, oil rises, heads for best month since February 2021 on supply concerns. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Musa Abubakar. It's good to have you join us. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has decried that $35,000 deposit being requested by the Egyptian authorities from foreigners, including Nigerians, to operate a business enterprise in that country. The minister said such a condition negates the unity that bound African countries together. He therefore promised to take the matter up with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyema, and other relevant bodies upon his return to Nigeria. The minister also decries the high number of Nigerian children out of school in Egypt owing to language barrier and non-availability of registered Nigerian schools in Cairo. Evacuation of the unprocessed rice success pyramids in Abuja has commenced. Rice millers are on ground to see to the evacuation for milling and processing, Nigerian Outer reports.
Would be recalled that rice paddy under the Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria program refund were stacked in 13 massive pyramids to ensure Nigeria's food security and abundance. This unprocessed rice, which was gathered together from across the 36 states of the Federation, is said to be just about 10% of the produce by farmers under the Anchor Borrowers program. Evacuation of this rice for milling and further processing has started in Abuja.
Each miller was given a certain quantity of paddy, and he has paid. If you pay 100%, and if you have any outstanding payment and you settle that through the Unity Bank, then we will honor the allocation and load the quantity that was allocated to you.
An average bag is about 75 kg, and the millers will ensure that the end product is sold to Nigerians at affordable rates.
As a miller, you will apply or you request that you did a FID to refund, from refund through CBN. So whenever the refund or CBN confirm that yes, you have a rice mill, so everybody is allowed to go and they will allocate a number of bags through which capacity do you have.
The Abuja Rice Pyramid is considered to be the largest in Africa. Nigerian Outer.
Works on the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano highway is speeding up, with contractors set to meet the 2023 handover deadline. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Raji Fashola traveled the about 376 kilometers highway, insisting on quality from contractors and the right of way from the public. Abdullahi Mohammed reports.
Wheeling out of the city of Kano was a mixture of diversions. From a lane with men and machines laying out brand new roads to another completed with lay markings waiting for handing over.
About 643 equipment deployed.
This is the reality of the progress of work, as well as the value of its finished product. The Minister of Works and Housing has savored. To those who worry about the finish line, he says it's more of the quality than speed.
The asphalt that is laid must be laid at a specific temperature. When they are laying asphalt, I think you should come. You will see that they insert thermometers there to ensure that the temperature is right. So we are not going to compromise all of that quality, otherwise the road will fail. We have only 24 hours in one day to work. And we want to avoid accidents also. It's our target to finish the main carriageway before 2023, May 29. And we are doing our very best to, and the president is also involved in this because we meet with his chief of staff every month.
And that speaks for itself. An environmentally friendly method of road construction with a world-class output. And what a way to cheer up the men whose blessed hands do the magic. On Kanu, Kaduna, Abuja Highway, Abdullah Muhammad.
Thank you, Abdullah. The National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA, has revealed that the data protection industry is worth 4.08 billion naira, creating more than 8 jobs for Nigerians.
The only comprehensive regulation we have in Nigeria so far is Nigeria Data Protection Regulation. It is because of this, I think the journey so far is highly commendable. And the federal government of Nigeria is working day in, day out to integrate this existing legislation into full law.
Data drives
Hundreds of households in Borno State have benefited from conditional cash transfer scheme of the federal government, with over 200,000 households currently on the National Register for any kind of intervention. Maimuna Garba has more.
Which has significant positive impacts on poor and vulnerable families in the society, is a critical social protection modality initiated to promote economic empowerment while decreasing poverty and food insecurity. It is also being used more effectively to impact other aspects of people's lives.
I thank the President for coming up with this program, because I am using the money to sell cap.
The money I used to buy food for my family.
The program has great impact on lives of the citizenry in Borno, considering the over a decade-long insurgency which led to a lot of humanitarian crises. But the swift intervention of both the state and federal governments have assisted many families. Thus, significant number of households have benefited.
We have about 84,000 beneficiaries. That is 84,000 households that have benefited from the conditional cash transfer of the federal government. Recently, we were also in the field registering for the rapid response register as a result of the COVID-19, which was also part of the conditional cash transfer, because those registered into the RRR will benefit from 5,000 naira monthly.
With peace being restored and IDPs relocating to their ancestral homes, they are still going to benefit from the program, as Borno State Government has its own initiative. Borno State Government has also benefited from labor-intensive public workforce that supports individuals with set criteria by World Bank. These initiatives have succeeded in improving the lot of Borno citizenry, having suffered several years of insurgency war with great socio-economic effects. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba.
Now, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, today unveiled the 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity PPP. From when the announcement was made on October 25th, 2021, over 243 applications have been received through 22 banks. The plan seeks to quarterly select 100 private sector companies with projects that have potential to significantly accelerate domestic production and productivity, reduce imports, increase non-oil exports, and overall improvements in the foreign exchange generating capacity of the Nigerian economy beginning from November 1st, 2021. The ultimate goal of the initiative is to reverse the nation's over-reliance on imports by creating an ecosystem that targets and supports the right companies and projects with potential to immediately transform and jumpstart the productive base of the economy. 28 applications worth 23.2 billion naira have been approved, comprising 14 from the manufacturing sector, 12 from agriculture, and 2 from the health sector. Joining me to discuss more on the 100 for 100 initiative by the CBN is Dr. Taifa Abraham. You're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you very much, Mr. My pleasure to be here.
Okay, what's your take on this intervention that now it targets the real sector?
This intervention is another one by the central bank to help very big companies, enterprises that have the potential to grow our economy, to help them address the credit constraints that they may be facing ordinarily. Because access to credit from the normal financial market is exposed to a lot of evaluations. They face interest rate risk assessment, ability to pay back. They have to show one or two collateral here and there. They have to show a certain record of performance and other documentation that can help motivate providing loans to them. Also, in addition to that, showing that they will not default. But the CBN, knowing the potentials from these companies, and that's why it is 100 for 100. Up to 100 companies can apply, and then they process their own for 3 months, and they consider the next 100. And then they must be companies within agriculture, manufacturing, real sector, sectors that have the capacity to boost our domestic economy, create jobs, and create that theoretical multiplier effect that we always talk about, so that you get from the farmer's harvest becomes what you buy becomes the input to the manufacturing, and then you help them produce real goods and services that we can see, food, goods and services that can address food shortage, food supply, create jobs, revive our textile industries, create real manufacturing businesses. So these are the areas that the central bank is looking forward to help businesses in this sector address their credit constraints.
Okay, and now how do you see that translating to desired achievement?
You know, for the central bank, it's important. So many people criticize the central bank for intervening in everything, but there's a theoretical background for why the CBN is doing what it's doing. The central bank can do two things: focus on price stability and allow the impact of its policies to have effect on the real sector, but leaving it to chance, to the forces of demand and supply. So believing that if CBN achieves single-digit inflation, keep exchange rate stable, attain stable macroeconomic growth, they automatically to translate to job creation, the real sector will benefit, and everything will just keep happening nice. But as Lord Maynard Keynes will say in economics textbook, if we wait for that to happen in the long run, we might all be dead. So the central bank is tired, if I may use that word, of seeing double-digit inflation affecting the real sector capacity to survive. It's tired of seeing double-digit inflation, which also translates into high double-digit interest rate, cost of loanable fund affecting the real operations of commercial banks. The central bank is also tired of seeing credit constraint affecting the real operations of sectors. So rather than just allowing the impact of central bank policy affect the real sector as a consequence of monetary policy, the central bank under Emefiele is using more or less the direct approach by identifying the constraints, the challenges affecting the real sector, and to help address those challenges. By so doing, we will now be able to at least spur the real sector variables like employment creation, job creation, real sectors to also pick up. But the concept about this 100 for 100 policy is that it's not every company that can access it. It must be within the agriculture, manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and some other sectors. And it's expected that you have a minimum capital requirement that you need. Otherwise, Anchor's Brewers program will be able to address your need. But to access this fund, it's not just open for all. You must meet our legal requirements. You must be registered with CAC. You must show evidence of FRS, tax payment, and the likes. So these are some of the conditions. But ultimately, the aim is to help real sectors, enterprises that can grow the economy, have access to credit. Because access to credit in our economic model is access to capital.
But what about the private sector?
This is for them. This 100 for 100 is for the private sector.
It promotes the private sector. What I mean now, funding from the private sector.
Over the years, very recently, banks have huge non-performing loans. Yeah. In other words, people are borrowing from commercial banks, but the borrowing is mostly for consumption from household, people with salary earners who need quick loans to pay back in 1, 2, 3 months. The banks are not doing well in terms of borrowing to the real sector, to private sector that drive real economy. The people banks are borrowing to now are people in the fintech space who borrow from them and then create this avenue for other people to borrow from them through what is called loan sharks and things like that. Yeah. But the central bank is concerned about the real economy, because to get our exchange rate to pick up, to drive inflation downward, to address food component of inflation, we need to address real sector rigidities, the factors affecting them. And like I said, the National Development Plan anticipates 341 trillion, for which 84 to 85% will come from the private sector. If we don't create the enabling environment for private sector to grow, they will not be able to take advantage and have the necessary boost they require to play their own part in achieving our national development plan.
So this intervention, what role will it play in import substitution, and how will it address our forex crisis?
Already, Nexim Bank has a lot of policies on this in terms of encouraging or promoting our export. And by promoting export, indirectly or indirectly, you are already addressing import. You are substituting for import, because if we don't have the export, there's nothing to substitute from. Now, what we need, especially in our economy, is to grow our domestic absorption capacity, to expand our domestic production base. And these companies that will be benefiting from the CBN 100 for 100 policy are those that are big players in our real sector. And what that happens is that it will drive and connect the rural production to urban production. It will strengthen the value chain along the line and then help create jobs along these businesses, and more importantly, help them to contribute to our tax earnings, which we need at this time more than ever.
Okay, let's now talk about AFCFTA. How will this intervention create results in the export sector?
Well, you mentioned AFCTA. So what that happens is that our goods must compete with that from Ghana and other African countries. The era, global economics is driven by this one price, free market, access, global village, interconnection of economies. So in as much as we want to promote Nigeria, sell Nigeria, buy Nigeria, we must make sure that our production complies to standards so that it can compete with the other ones coming from outside the country. Now, this CBN policy, we grant access to these private sector businesses to help them improve on their quality of production on any goods and service line they find themselves. And that will include packaging, output, and employment, which will make our own production to be able to compete with that we have from other economies. Otherwise, if we don't have anything to offer in this era of African Continental Free Trade Agreement, we have nothing to sell. And if we have nothing to sell, we will once again be a dumping ground. So the CBN is addressing the real issue from the domestic economy.
Before I let you go, what does this mean for the job seekers?
For job seekers, this is a lot of opportunities along value chain, from farm to market. Everybody connected along this line. All the guys in fintech, all the ladies in fintech, telecoms, everything. This is more jobs for everyone. And it also means that people can now have their own harvest or production serve as input into the bigger production that these people do. For example, if people who will be investing in the sugar space, for instance, you need sugarcane farmers to sell to you. So it will reduce post-harvest losses, because farmers now have where to sell so that they can also grow their own earnings and reduce wastage. It will improve rural livelihood, drive down rural inflation, help drive down food inflation, and overall help improve our employment data. Yeah. And if you look at our unemployment data right now, unemployment plus inflation gives us a very high misery index. So coming from the CBN is using one blow for two goals: push down unemployment, reduce inflation, and overall reduce our misery index and create improved livelihood for young people, women, and children.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Musa. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Now, moving on. Oil rose more than 1% on Monday to near 7-year highs hit in the previous session, while supply concerns and political tensions in Eastern Europe and the Middle East put prices on track for their biggest monthly gain in almost a year. Brent crude rose $1.07 to $91.10 a barrel after adding 69 cents on Friday. The front month contract for March delivery expires later in the day. The most active Brent contract for April delivery was trading at $89.51, up 99 cents. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude added $1.07 to $87.89 a barrel, having gained 21 cents on Friday. The benchmarks recorded their highest levels since October 2014 on Friday, $91.70 and $88.84, and their sixth straight weekly gain. They were headed for about 17% gains this month, the most since February 2021. Now, look at the commodities market is next. The bears held ground to close trading in the week ended 28th January 2022. Bob Landercock has a review of market activities for the week.
The value of Nigeria's listed equities increased by 138 billion naira last week amid mixed trading sessions as investors traded cautiously while the value hunters got lucky. Despite the market's negative start to the week, it recorded 3 days of gains to close the week on a positive note by appreciating 0.5%. The NGX All-Share Index rose from open low of 45,957.35 points to 46,205.05 points, while the value of listed stocks increased from week open low of 24.7 trillion naira to 24.8 trillion naira. All other indices finished lower with the exception of the NGX main board, banking, Afri-Bank Value, Afri-Div Yield, Merry Growth, consumer goods and oil and gas indices which appreciated while the NGX ASEM and NGX growth indices closed flat. The financial services industry measured by volume led the activity chart with 793.1 million shares valued at 8.1 billion naira traded in 10,947 deals. The ICT industry followed with 215.5 million shares, while the conglomerates industry took the third position. Trading in the top 3 equities, Guarantee Trust Holding Company, Courtsville Business Solutions, and Champs accounted for 308 million shares worth 2.8 billion naira in 2,225 deals. 44 equities appreciated in price in the week. 33 equities depreciated in price, while 79 equities remained unchanged.
Global stock market reviews next with Inekauko.
Stocks staged a modest rebound this Monday as traders put aside concerns about inflation and the crisis in Ukraine to dip back in. Asian stocks were higher with markets in China and South Korea closed for the Lunar New Year Eve. The Nikkei 225 in Japan rose 1.07% to close at 27,001.98, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index also jumped 1.07% to 23,802.26. European stocks also advanced on the last trading day of January, with markets in Germany leading the region. The DAX was up by 1.36%, while London's FTSE advanced 0.25% and France's CAC 40 added 0.76%. U.S. stock futures were mixed in early trading as investors braced for the final trading day in what could be the worst month for the S&P 500 since March 2020. Dow futures dipped 25 points. S&P 500 added 0.16% and Nasdaq 100 appreciated by 0.67%. African markets, like their U.S. counterparts, also traded mixed on Monday. South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 jumped 1.36% to lead gains in the region, followed by Kenya, while Tunisia and Ghana were the relative underperformers. And that's Global Market Review. I am Neka Oko.
That's it. Business Express returns Tuesday by 9:30 a.m. Thanks for watching.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
NTA, you can't beat the reach.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Tom Hansen, in his work, Who Will Do What by When, said that creating a culture of integrity and accountability not only improves effectiveness, but generates a respectful, enjoyable, and life-giving setting for work to thrive. As we journey into the year 2022, remember that whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. And that's how I welcome you to this edition of your accountability program, The Eagle, where we'll bring you the work of the EFCC right to your doorstep to discuss economic and financial crimes matters, their repercussions, and how we can fight them together for a better Nigeria. My name is Aisha Mohammed. Since the beginning of this year, we've been refreshing our minds on the activities that took place in the EFCC in the year 2021. Today, we'll move forward to examine one of the responsibilities of the Commission in relation to the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCOM, a debt recovery agency of the federal government. Sit back, relax, as the program continues shortly. First on our lineup today is this report on the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, NCFRMI, calling on the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to support it in fulfilling its mandate, which is catering to the needs of refugees and asylum seekers, internally displaced persons, and stateless. The Honorable Federal Commissioner, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, who made the appeal during a courtesy visit to the corporate headquarters of the Commission, specifically requested for the assistance of the EFCC in securing office accommodation and opportunity for her staff to train at the EFCC's Academy in Cairo, Abuja. Abbas Abubakar Umar tells us more.
The Commissioner, Iman Suleiman, implored the EFCC to factor the plight of refugees and internally displaced persons to have corporate social responsibility considerations. She disclosed that she had launched a strategic framework designed to turn around the fortunes of National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, NCFRMI. The Commissioner disclosed this while passionately speaking about the Project Zero Hunger aimed at meeting the needs of the most vulnerable and the Project Reliance, which is a collaborative effort with the Central Bank of Nigeria to turn around the fortunes of the Commission and improve the condition of persons that depend on her services. Iman said that her commission is poised to digitize its operations and was working in cooperation with the National Information and Technology Development Agency, NITDA, to provide ICT training to 10,000 people. The Refugees Commission boss also stated that she was exploring the possibility of working closely with state governors to look into the possibility of closing the existing refugee camps or turn them into settlements for those who cannot return to their homes. Responding, the EFCC chairman Abdurrashid Bawa acknowledged the importance of the work of the Refugees Commission in the midst of the security challenges, especially in the northeast and northwest, and offered to support the commission to achieve its mandate. He expressed delight that the Commission was thinking about improving its processes and procedures through the strategic framework. Bauer pointed out that the EFCC was already running with a similar vision through its strategic plan that minimizes the use of discretion in the fight against corruption. The EFCC boss promised to oblige the Refugees Commission the opportunity to train its personnel at the EFCC Academy, which has just been renovated. He, however, stated that a training needs assessment would be carried out to determine the type of training that would be suitable for the NCFRMI. Bauer also welcomed the idea of designating focal persons or teams to facilitate smooth interface between the two agencies. He added that he would prefer the focal persons for the EFCC is drawn from the Special Control Unit against money laundering. This, he explained, is informed by his concern over alleged involvement of some international non-governmental organizations in money laundering and terrorism financing activities. Abbas Abubakar Umar reporting for the Eagle.
The Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, was established by the Act of the National Assembly of Nigeria in July 2010. It was created to be a key stabilizer and revitalizing tool aimed at reviving the financial system by efficiently resolving the non-performing loan assets of the banks in the Nigerian economy. What is non-performing loans, one may ask? This, they say, were loans that debtors could not or refused to pay back to the bank, and so the banks either faced financial difficulties or threatened collapse. To address the situation, the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria established AMCON to handle or resolve such matters. Now, some of the loans were discovered to be fraudulent in nature, and the EFCC often are called in to handle such fraudulent loans. You may want to ask how. You will find the answers soon enough from our interview segment with Ojochokutami Eche and our guest. Don't go away.
Hello, thank you very much for joining us on this segment of the program. My name is Ojochokutami Eche, and I'm here with Zainab Bello Tifi. She's the second in command AMCON desk of the EFCC headquarters. Zainab Bello Tifi, you're welcome on the program.
Thank you very much.
So Zainab, tell us a bit about the AMCON desk of the EFCC. How did it all start?
Well, the AMCON desk of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has been existing since 2016. But I want to take us back a bit before the creation of the AMCON desk. There was financial crisis. Banks were collapsing or about to collapse. People were about to lose their monies, and a lot of things was happening. Now, the government thought of AMCON, and Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria was created. And what did AMCON do? AMCON was created so that it can source for fund, or AMCON now, when it was created, AMCON sourced for fund from the financial system. Precisely, since we're talking about it, AMCON sourced for about 5 trillion naira from the financial system. And this money that was sourced by AMCON was used to stabilize those banks. Out of these monies, according to what the statistics said, this would have borrowed the money that did not pay. About 13,000 of them were holding this 3.7 trillion naira. And while AMCON now used this 3.7, these monies that it borrowed from the financial system to cushion, to stop those banks from collapsing. And the corporation borrowed money from the financial system, bought 13,000 not performing loans at the cost of 3.7 trillion from 22 banks. And that's not all they did. AMCON also injected the sum of 2.3 trillion to 10 banks to bring stability in order to avoid system failure in Nigeria.
What kind of crimes does the AMCON desk uncover in the course of your duty? Because when you go out, I'm sure you meet a lot of things. What kind of crimes do you uncover when you go out there to do your job?
A lot of crimes, but like I said, they bought this. They have this 13,000 debtors that AMCON now reduced it as part of their job to about 7,000. Now, these 7,000 debtors, that is where the problem is, and all efforts made by AMCON to get these people to pay, people keep dodging, people remain hiding behind their fraudulent activities, trying to find other means of escaping not paying these loans. Now, to move forward or to be able to recover these monies led to the collaboration between AMCON and EFCC, and then that gave birth to the AMCON desk. That led to the creation of the AMCON desk, like I said, in 2016. We are dealing with Nigerians, and once you're dealing with Nigerians, you should expect to see everything. People were there, people were able to get loans, people were there to get loans, not because they want to pay. I have access, my brother is there, my sister's husband is there, my cousin friend, a lot of relationship, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my husband. You know, people just went there to just get this money. It's not that they have anything to do with it or they have any intention of paying. Some of the loans, like you said, were fraudulently given. You realize that some of the forms were not truly given. Some collaterals were exaggerated, if they were even given at all. Some collaterals were given and then removed. A lot of things happen. You could see some sharp practices that has happened between the bankers then, and a lot of issues.
Now, after all this, you have recovered the assets, you have got all these things. What comes next?
Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, one of our mandate is to investigate those Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. And once you find those cases, you find out that aside from the money, those crimes have been committed. So sometimes, while we also see how we can recover those funds, which is not our main, once there is this crime, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, we go after it, and investigation as always takes time, and we do what we can, and we're still doing it. We have to see it through.
Okay. What's the level of synergy between the AMCON desk of the EFCC and the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria in the discharge of their duties?
Well, like I said, something led to the creation of AMCON, something also led to the creation of the AMCON desk in the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. And because of that, the synergy is beyond comprehension. I just sometimes when I see it, I kind of think of it like you marry, like marriage, If somebody comes in and marry a girl in your house, he is not one of you, but he is part of you. I think AMCON can come in here and come into EFCC without, not officially, informally. We go to them, they come to us. It's more of an extension of EFCC. And I want to see that AMCON will also say the same thing as EFCC and an extension of AMCON. So we have a very good synergy. We reach out to them anytime they reach out to us. In fact, they are part of our investigations because we need them to also sort a lot of things during investigations. It has caused these protocols of writing letter, waiting for reply and things like that. You can just go there and get what you want and come back. In fact, it makes the work so much easier.
So you collaborate very well.
Beautifully.
With AMCON.
Yes, yes.
Now, talking about the achievements of this desk, since it was created in 2016, how has it helped in the fight against economic and financial crimes? What achievements has this desk, uncovered? What achievements has this desk reached?
I should think that when AMCON was created and it was doing what it was meant to do, people took it on its own strength, that this is AMCON, they're just here to recover these monies. How I got the loan, it's not AMCON's business. AMCON just wants you to just bring back this money because we borrowed this money. AMCON borrowed this money from the financial system, and there is need and time frame for them to also return this money. So you just feel like, you're just dealing with AMCON and it's just AMCON alone. I think the greatest achievement to me will be the fact that that you've taken this loan illegally, you've taken this loan through fraud, you acquired this loan fraudulently, and the fact that now that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is on your back. That AMCON has the capacity to just speak to you now, and the next thing you're being invited by EFCC based on the loan that you've taken from AMCON. I think it scared a lot of debtors. It scared a lot of people that took this loan, and I think it really, kind of shook the whole system, the people, and then it reactivated a lot of activity. A lot of people were going to AMCON so that they don't end up being invited by EFCC, because once we get this petition from AMCON, it's no more about the money now. The money becomes secondary to us, even though it's what the synergy is all about to bring. But the fact that you acquired this loan through some means that are not some shady means, and that's where we're going to put our light on, and that is what I want to believe. Nobody wants that to happen. So that gingered people that went out to now go and to AMCON to sort a lot of this. So it kind of gave AMCON that boost. To us, it's our target to also see that these things are being done the way they are supposed to be done. These people return this money so that we'll all be happy. If you know what this money, 5 trillion naira, could have done to the economy, could have done to everyone, it does not mean that money has to be in your pocket. You could be driving on good road. It's part of the benefit of this thing. You go to hospital and get the medicine that you want. a lot of things. Our educational system will increase, and endless things that these monies can do in our economy. So if we can get people, the fact that EFCC is part of it, it will trigger people to go in there and return this money. The truth is, when I sit and I have this 2-3 volumes of one case on my table and I look at it and I go through the petition, go through the history of the loan, you realize that the truth is that when people were doing these loans, maybe they were in their 20s, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, when they were, have this opportunity to go to banks and get this loan. Now it's 20 or more years later, 20, 30 years later, people are still haunting you. If you have any sense, this will tell you that it's not going to be over until it's over. Some of the debtors have died, but we're still after them. Some of the people in AMCON decks were not even born when you were filling those forms. And you think that it's free, I can do it, I can get away with it. It's not going to go, because the money belongs to Nigerians. And for as long as we live and we die, there will still be Nigerians, hopefully, on this earth. And these Nigerians will keep going after you because what you have taken, it's not theirs. If you still have these loans with you, I'll advise that you move to AMCON, go there, sit with them, talk with them, meet with them, come out, so that you find a way of settling this issue because AMCON is after the money. And nobody is going to leave you with this money. There's no excuse, not even dying. People that have died, you still go after them, go after what they've left, because even when you die, you're not going to carry those things. You're going to leave it behind. Even if someone has inherited it, it's not his own, because it still belongs to Nigerians. Now, another thing I want to say, if you're going to go for a loan, please make sure you have something that you're going to do with the loan. Just don't go there because your cousin, sister's brother's friend is in a bank or has access or is going to open a small door. You go in there and take the loan. Now, I'm also coming back to the bankers that give the loan. Please, it's what we write that will live after us, that will live and will defend us, or it's the same thing that will incriminate us into whatever it is that we find ourselves. So wherever it is that you go to, if you know that you are in a bank, there's a process. Please follow it. If there's a collateral that you need to give, please be sure that it's there, because nobody is going to leave this loan. You can imagine some people were not born and then they are now chasing you. They don't even have anything to do with it. Some of you are in your 70s, 80s, but people are calling you to the commission. They've brought people in wheelchair. They've brought people with sticks. They've brought people holding them. We've interviewed blind people. Why would you want to do this to yourself? Whether as a banker, because eventually these investigations, by the time we're through, is going to indict some of the bankers, and definitely they will go for the money that they did not take. And everything that you do, provided that there is record, we will get you. And even if there is no record, we should remember that wherever it is that one goes, with the current administration of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, under the administration of Mr. Bawa, Abdul Rashid Bawa, I want to tell you that there's no hiding place once you have this money, that wherever it is you go, you should remember that EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
We've been speaking with Zainab Bello Tifi. She is the second in command AMCON desk of the EFCC headquarters, and I'm sure you learned a lot because she said something. Whatever you do, EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime. My name is Ojo Chukutami Eche. Thank you so much for staying with us on this program. The program continues shortly. Thank you.
If you're just joining us, the program is The Eagle, coming to you from the stables of the EFCC. We just looked at the role of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, and its relationship with the EFCC in loans recovery and how to deal with fraudulent loans. Fraud, whether in loan facilities or in any other environment, is not acceptable. It incurs grave consequences from the government as well as from nature itself. Moving forward, the year 2021 just ended, and we want to know how ready Nigerians are in continuing to help in the fight against economic and financial crimes in 2022. Our correspondent went to the streets of the federal capital to get the views of Nigerians on this, and this what they had to say.
As we all know, the year 2021 has bid us farewell, and of course, 2022 has just set in. Fighting economic and financial crimes is a duty to every patriotic Nigerian. How can you as a person contribute to the fight against economic and financial crimes in this year 2022?
It's a year that is very pregnant positively, but in the area of fighting economic crimes as well as financial crimes in general, we as a Nigerian, we have to be honest with whatever we are doing. In our various endeavors, in our careers, we should try and be satisfied with the little or minimal resources that we have. We shouldn't be over-ambitious. Whatever is available to you in the society, you try and put it into positive use to affect the life of people around you.
Already I belong to a lot of women groups, and we have been advocating to fellow women in the market against financial crime. You know, like the market women, they adulterate a lot of products and they use substandard measures. All these ones are equally contributing to economic crimes. So we advocate, we speak to our fellow women in various meetings. Even in our religious group, we pray that people should change the attitude. People should change the attitude because it's not doing us any good. The whole country is suffering it.
Let me give you an example. When I was working as a civil servant, in our days, you will have contractors. No single civil servant was a contractor. Contractors come and do their job, their checks are being drawn, their work they did is supervised, and approval is given. But today, it is not like that. So to be able to get this issue solved, you and I should be able to know that getting the people we call patriotic men and women is very, very important.
To my own opinion, you know, I will have advised, let the federal government, you know, start with the National Assembly. If they start with the National Assembly before they disburse the money, you know, they can at least, you know, scrutinize all these things, you know, so at least from the foundation, so they will know this where this money belongs to, this where this money belongs to. Sure, you understand? It will be very, very appropriate that way. Instead of disbursing it, then you will be running after them. It doesn't make any sense. To me, that's why I said to my own opinion.
I think, firstly, I will have to fish out the perpetrators. Okay, like if for example, I'm in a higher position to do that, my men will go out to every hook and crannies where we know this crime have been perpetrated. So they will fish them out. There's nothing like higher authority. We just have to do what is needful for this country to move forward. And as a person, I will try my best because I have no other country than this country. So for this country to be a safe haven for everyone, we have to do the needful, irrespective of religions or tribe.
From the responses you heard, fighting economic and financial crimes is everyone's business, including you and I. Let us all join our hands together to protect the image of our dear nation. Hussein Isani Abubakar, reporting for the Eagle.
Thank you, Usaini, for that vox pop. And as rightly said by the respondent, we all have to be sincere in our dealings. We have to be disciplined and morally upright for us to see the needed change. Do the right thing, always. Before we end the program, the EFCC, as usual, want to sound this note of caution. Be careful what type of investment scheme you subscribe to. Here are some tips for you to look out for to avoid being scammed. High returns with little or no risk, overly consistent returns, unregistered investment, unlicensed sellers, secretive complex strategies. Avoid investment if you don't understand them or can't get complete information about them. Difficulty receiving payment. Be suspicious if you don't receive a payment or have difficulty cashing out. Ponzi scheme promoters sometimes try to prevent participants from cashing out by offering even higher returns for staying put. Beware. And that concludes our program for the day. We will be back next week, same time, same station. Don't forget to keep a date with us. But before we go, here is a reminder that you can send an email to info@efcc.gov.ng and can speak to our representatives or officers on 0809 3322644 and follow us on all our social media platforms at official EFCC for all matters relating to economic and financial crimes though. If you see fraud happening, use the EFCC mobile app, the Eagle Eye. Download the app, follow the steps and report fraud on the go. You can also take pictures of corrupt practices and upload them. My name is Aisha Mohammed, as usual, leaving you with this parting words that says, honesty is more than not lying. It is truth telling, truth speaking, truth living and truth loving. No legacy is so rich as honesty. It takes strength and courage to admit the truth. Please do the right thing always. Goodbye. God bless Nigeria. Please stay safe, be kind to one another, and have a great day ahead.
Tuesday Live, analytical, in-depth, educative and interactive on national issues accommodating all sides of opinions.
We as a people have understood that we have to fight corruption before it fights us back.
Poverty has a financial index, so it should be fought also with a financial weapon. Give it to the social investments program. It has been a very courageous battle.
Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Join us. NTA Parliament is a dedicated 24-hour channel that broadcasts activities of the Nigerian Senate, Federal House of Representatives, and all the 36 state houses of assembly. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
We want to talk about rights, there are obligations. I'm not saying that this government is a saint, it's very far from it. But there are things that we can do to make it better, and that's the challenge I'm throwing to you. You don't want to build this nation? I don't know where else you want to go. If I had a choice, I'll come back. When I stand outside and I hear what you have to say about this country that I know that I can die for as one, then I'm really sad because you're young. You have education, you have tools, you have a huge future ahead of you, and you're condemning yourself before you started on that journey. So please don't do that. Please don't.
Wannan labarin ma yana peji na 36.
Ita kuma babban labarin wannan jarida shine ainihin labarin da ke gaba jarida shine ta bayyana cewa
Okwoji Ikenga. Eziokwu.
Nwanne m nwoke.
Ikechukwu Ndukwe. Igbo.
Mam. Iji wee mee ka ụbọchị na-aga n'anya ya.
Ọjọ́ tuntun léwutelu nù.
Nation fún ti òwúrọ̀ yìí. Ibẹ̀ náà ti sọ pé àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ ìpínlẹ̀ Benue pàṣẹ wípé.
Ní gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀ka, ní ẹ̀ka ètò ẹ̀kọ́, ní ẹ̀ka ètò ìlera, ní ẹ̀ka ètò ààbò.
Hello and welcome. It's time.
welcome to Nationwide on NTA. I'm Ruth Aguela. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live and on YouTube channel NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page NTA Network News, Twitter at NTA News Now, and on Instagram NTA Network for updates. A bid by the Association of Specialist Medical Doctors in the academics to have the Minister of Finance committed to prison for contempt has suffered a setback. Olabode Arewa reports that this was part of proceedings at the National Industrial Court, Abuja Division, this Monday.
I'm very sure and I'm very confident about that. Well, in a position like this, when a defendant says, a party says not served of any process, the court, based on the issue of fair hearing, the court will not go on. And that was what happened up to today. So what the court did in essence was to give them that audience. I was okay, you claim you are not served, we are not going to hear the application.
To Legislative Affairs, the National Assembly says its instrument of oversight in the 2022 fiscal year will be rigid on revenue generation by ministries, departments and agencies of government. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, stated this at an interactive session between the Senate and heads of revenue-generating agencies. We'll bring you the report in the course of the bulletin. Multiple taxation as well as legislative and bureaucratic bottlenecks must be eliminated towards creating a sustainable and attractive environment for ease of doing business in Nigeria. Guest on NT's Good Morning Nigeria, who gave this position, also advocated homegrown parameters for praising progress made on ease of doing business in Nigeria. Let's hear more from Alika Okpanachi-Aroa.
Special advisor to the president on the ease of doing business, Jumoke Oduwole, outlined various measures put in place by the present administration that have ensured Nigeria's progress on the Global Ease of Doing Business Index in the last 6 years.
We try to get government agencies to work with each other and to focus on the people issues, the process issues, and infrastructure. Of course, the hard infrastructure challenges are up to the honorable ministers, Minister of Power, Minister of Works, Minister of Digital Economy and Communication. These are their mandates.
Other guests, however, harped on the need for policy cohesion among the three tiers of government for the gains not to be eroded.
I want to say that efficiency is key. And productivity can only increase if there's efficiency. And efficiency comes where there is cost of doing business is very low. Technology is key.
And let us remember that governance and government is very, very important in terms of what we are talking about. So that means that the respective states must be up to it as far as their respective institutions in terms of development and children.
Businesses are frustrated because litigations, in fact, settlement of disputes are there for years unsettled, or even issues that ought to have been settled that are not criminal in nature are criminalized by the police, and therefore the tendency for people to get justice is not there.
There's still bureaucratic bottleneck. Taxation is still an issue. But yet, because we are Nigerians, because this system is for all of us, there is need to have a bit of a clearinghouse such that, agencies such as the public can succeed and be able to, to deliver the goods and services for which they were created.
It was agreed that the private sector should keep putting pressure on the government until ease of doing business in the country becomes enviable. In Abuja, Alika Okpanachi-Aroa.
In implementing its mandate, the Federal Ministry of Environment will be focusing on key priority areas in 2022, including the Ogoni cleanup exercise, climate change response, afforestation, waste management, circular economy, pollution control and wildlife conservation. Onenge Fineface will tell us about it.
Climate change is still impacting the world, with extreme weather conditions taking a toll on the people and their livelihoods. Guided by policies and action plans, Nigeria is prepared to mitigate climate change adapt to its impact, and build the resilience of people using the presidency of the Pan-African Agency of the Great Green Wall as pedestal for action. The Nigeria Circular Economy Program will be giving more vigor for safe management of plastic waste in the country, while the Ministry of Environment will implement programs and projects aimed at preventing and controlling land degradation arising from flooding, coastal, riverbank, and inland soil erosion.
But the most critical step that we have taken in our role in climate change mitigation is the realization of the Climate Change Act in November 2021. The Act provides for the establishment of the National Council on Climate Change, which will have the powers of policymaking and decisions on all matters related to climate change in Nigeria.
In line with UNEP recommendations on Ogoni land cleanup, 14 new water projects to cover more communities in Ogoni land are undergoing procurement processes, while bidding is in progress for additional 37 hydrocarbon impacted sites.
Sensitization campaigns against illegal wildlife are being carried out. All this is for us to protect, restore, and sustainably manage Nigeria's ecosystems. The Federal Ministry of Environment will continue.
The minister says protecting, restoring, and sustainably managing Nigeria's ecosystems along the priority areas could provide more than a third of the nation's climate change mitigation solutions. Onengiye Fine Face, NTA News.
And more on the environment, Nigerian women are being mobilized to take action against climate change. This is following the formal launch of Clean and Green Nigeria campaign in Abuja. Salwal Khalil Ibrahim gives us details now.
Women are said to be the most affected by climate change, and so the Nigerian woman is being sensitized through the Clean and Green Nigerian campaign to take action against climate change.
It therefore goes without saying that the health of our planet, our health, well-being, and by implication, our future are all dependent on the environment. Don't encourage the purchase of the firewood, so it will go a long way to discourage those cutting the wood to ensure that we keep our environments clean and free.
The women and children are not only the most vulnerable to climate change, but they can also become efficient actors or agents of change in relation to both mitigation and adaptation.
Hashtag One Woman, One Tree and One Child, One Tree project is an initiative to encourage women and children to plant trees toward the realization of the National Carbon Emission Reduction Plan by the year 2030.
It has therefore become more urgent than it has ever been to build sustainable partnerships to address this obvious threat to our women's existence and survival, which is the reason for the emergence of this organization.
And for a safe and clean environment, the innocent ones have this message for you.
1. Let's clean our waterways. 2. Let's keep our environment clean. 3. Let's reduce deforestation.
Salwa Khalil, NTA News.
You can follow this news live on our website nta.ng/live and on YouTube channel NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page NTA Network News, on Twitter at NTA News Now, and Instagram NTA Network. We're heading to Lagos right away to join Kende. She's bringing the next set of reports for us.
Hello Ruth, glad to have you join us in Lagos. Construction work at the Lekki Deep Sea Port is progressing rapidly and presently put at 80% completion. More gratifying is the fact that the promoters of the project are proposing the fourth quarter of 2022 to test run operational readiness. Marco Lale reports.
These structures and infrastructure are the imprints of the new phase of port operations in Nigeria. A game changer projected to increase Nigeria's 20-foot equivalent unit TEU capacity to over 2.5 million per annum. Here, the entire 90 hectares of land is simultaneously under construction, a development showing commitment to prompt delivery. Out of the 20 buildings mapped out for operational and supporting services, 18 are already at advanced stage, while the pre-gates and 3 substations for electrification are already being constructed.
In terms of our building, with the container area, we want a situation where everything can be synergized in terms of having a full automation.
At the waterfront, the quay wall is already taking shape, while dredging and all the construction at the marine side are at over 80% completion. There is optimism that the project will be ready before the September delivery deadline.
The equipment is a separate package of procurement that we have already done. Within a couple of weeks, they will be put on a ship, erected and all. They'll come and sail here and be parked in front of the quay wall, so the equipment will get on the quay wall.
While the Lekki deep sea port is special is that it has a draft of 16.5 meters and turning cycle of 600 meters.
The capacity of phase 1 is 1.2 million. Basically, that is equivalent to the entire capacity in Lagos today. Phase 2 will take it to 2.7 million, which will actually exceed the entire capacity for the Nigerian port today.
While commending the Minister of Transportation for his timely intervention, which led to the commencement of the project in 2018, the acting managing director of the Nigerian Ports Authority says the Lekki Deep Sea Port identifies with the goal of changing the spectrum of port administration and increasing the options for cargo destination in Nigeria.
Lekki will also be able to take in more containers than some of the terminal operators we have. There will be more efficiency. When you digitalize system, it means that you have reduced human interference, human error, and it is likely to take businesses from some of the ports that we have here in Nigeria.
The Lekki Deep Sea Port, when completed, will not only reduce constraint on existing ones, but lay the foundation for the automation of processes in Nigerian ports. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NT News.
Enhancing the wealth of personnel and their families by developing their capacity for economic activities is a veritable platform of making them contribute to national development in more ways than one. The Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association National President Salamatu Yahya stated this when she inaugurated the fish and poultry farm at the Ojo Barracks in Lagos.
The farms, established in conjunction with the Lagos State Coordinator of the World Bank, Appeals Project is to provide affordable and hygienic protein to the inhabitants of the barracks and surrounding communities. The farms is also to boost income and increase employment opportunities. Now, one national president, Salamatu Yahya, described the project as timely, as it would assist personnel's wives to be self-reliant and in return be a support system to their husbands.
NAWA has gone beyond just providing humanitarian services. With the legacies that our predecessors have left behind, it means you must have administrative skills, you must have business skills, you must have also human resource management skills. And since coming on board, we have had a series of leadership workshop for members, as well as skills acquisition training for members. Right now, we're even partnering with SMIDAN to ensure that in terms of entrepreneurial skills, members get the best.
The NAWA president is expected to carry out similar projects across the country. In Lagos, Ruth Ario.
This news live on our Twitter handle at NTA News Now, Facebook NTA Network News, and on our YouTube page NTA Live. Nationwide continues with Obey shortly in Benin after this break.
The ever-busy ancient city of Onitsha is a commercial hub with millions of commuters seamlessly linking other states daily for business, leisure, and other purposes. To upscale its road network, the construction of a 1.6-kilometer-long second Niger bridge, including a 10.3-kilometer highway furnished with other infrastructure, has been in motion by the federal government. This project will ease congestion on the existing 56-year-old Onitsha bridge and boost the economic capacity of the state as it easily connects to other parts of the country. The completion of the world-class second Niger bridge Onitsha will be one of the many proud moments of the state, its people, Nigerians, and foreign investors. Onitsha, which hosts the largest market in Africa, is geared up to boast of an impressive road network. Once again, these moments are made alive by the federal government, and it's deserving of all the applause. Contemporary times require practical skills to remain competitive and relevant in your organization. Therefore, take advantage of NTA TV College Short Proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Computer Appreciation for Media Practitioners, date 21st February to 28th February 2022, 1 week. English Grammar and Pronunciation for Broadcasters, date 1st March to 25th March, 4 weeks. Administrative Principles, Processes and Practices, date 11th March to 31st March 2022, 4 weeks. Modern Trends in Broadcast Media Marketing, date 14th March to 13th April 2022, 4 weeks. Basic Broadcast Accounting and Auditing, date 4th April to 19th April 2022, 2 weeks. The course fee for the 1 week course is 100,000 naira per participant. The fee for the 2 week course is 150,000 naira, while the course fee for the 4 week course is 180,000 naira only, accommodation inclusive. The venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College, Mayor Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, training you to be the best you want to be.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Youth for Greater Nigeria, pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Other Femi Martins, just look at this. Remember the name.
The African Cup of Nations starts on the 9th of January 2022 on NTA, powered by Afrosports. For sponsorship and advertisements, contact us on 090-9890-6913 or 090-3513-2838.
To have you join us on NTA Benin Network Center. Lekki State Police Command has paraded 98 suspected political thugs arrested in the state. Ekiti Command Police Relations Officer ASP Sunday Abufu said officers of the Nigerian Army arrested the suspects at a border town in the state. Kainde Drudola reports.
The 98 armed suspected thugs were arrested by the military officers at Itaure in Evon Assis checkpoint. In 18 passengers buses, they were boarded and they were handed over to the police. The police spokesperson explained that guns, charms and other dangerous weapons were recovered from the suspects. He said investigations into their sponsors are still ongoing, while the suspect will be charged to court for prosecution after investigations.
We're actually coming to Ekiti State, and you know, that day was the eve of the People Democratic Party's primaries in the state. So the soldiers suspected them and they accosted them and were arrested. And we are charging them to court. They are going to court right away.
The PPRO assured the public of the command's resolution to ensure adequate security ahead of the forthcoming governorship election in the state. From Ado Ekiti, Kainde Drudola, NTA News.
There is hope in sight to end the crisis rocking Ikare Akoko in Ondo State. The committee set up to look into the crisis submitted its report to Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. Abiola Ariyo reports.
There has been unrest among the Muslim community in Ikare Akoko over the removal of various standing committees by the chief imam for their alleged financial recklessness and tenure expiration. Submitting the report to the governor, the chairman of the committee informed that in a bid to ensure peaceful and amicable resolution of the crisis, several meetings and consultations with relevant stakeholders were done to acquaint members with the remote and the immediate causes of the crisis.
That the dissolved committees should be allowed to complete its tenure, and during the period, it should ensure there is openness, transparency, and accountability in the management of the affairs of the mosque. That the chairman of the Muslim Council should write to apologize to the chief imam for being insolent in his letter and utterances to the chief imam.
Thank you. The recommendation is very, very comprehensive, and I think, short of saying we have accepted it, we'll look at it again, because there's nothing we can add.
Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu appreciated the committee for doing a thorough job, promising to ensure full implementation of the report. In Akure, Abiola Ariyo, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Nationwide continues with Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you, Obeyi. Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello has described as unfortunate and regrettable the recent attack by gunmen on Galadi Mankogo and other villages in Shiroro local government area of the state. Terrorists numbering over 100 reportedly invaded the community in broad daylight, killing about 11 Joint Security Task Force members, several villagers, and leaving many injured, while scores of the gunmen were also said to have been neutralized. In a statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Mary Noel Berger, the Governor condemned the attack on the community, stressing that it would have been unsuccessful if villagers from Galape and Kudodo in Alawa community had not alerted the security agencies when they noticed movements of the terrorists towards the town. Governor Sani Bello urged the villagers in the affected communities to endeavor to provide credible information to the Joint Security Task Force stationed in the area, adding that security agencies cannot perform effectively and efficiently without getting appropriate support and intelligence report from the people. The governor sued for calm and urged the fleeing communities in Galadiman Kogo and Kuchi in Shiroro and Munya local government areas to await swift and immediate response from the Joint Security Task Force, stressing that their earlier withdrawal was tactical in order to re-strategize. Governor Sani Bello said the state government has already secured the order and clearance of President Buhari to carry out intensive military operations in Shiroro, Munya and Rafi local government axes, assuring that ground and airstrikes would continue to comb the areas so as to flush out the miscreants. The governor prayed for the reposed souls of the Joint Security Task Force members and villagers who lost their lives during the attack on Galadiman Kogo and directed the State Emergency Management Agency to urgently provide succor to the injured and displaced. The Nigerian Army has reiterated its commitment to protecting the national integrity of the country as it is combat ready to end terrorism and other criminal activities in the country. This reassurance came from the Commander, Training and Doctrine Command, Nigerian Army Major General Stevenson Olubenga Olabanji during the West African Social Activities WASA 2021 held at the Mina Cantonment. Fatima Usman reports.
African Social Activities WASA is an age-long tradition of the Nigerian Army celebrated in recognition of its contribution and successes in the cause of defending the nation through various operations. It is an event which also provides avenue where the diverse ethnic groups in the barracks showcase their rich cultural heritage. Of officers and men on days like this adorn their respective native attires in a show of respect and pride for their culture, unless, of course, for some others who have to be in their khakis for obvious reasons. Minna Cantonment was not left out of these, as its officers and men, including their family members, trooped out in large numbers to celebrate. The event was not without some fun, as tug of war also featured, involving soldiers from different army formations in the cantonment, their wives and corps members serving in the barracks.
We need to move to the partner side. Ladies and gentlemen,
Commander, Training and Doctrine Command, Nigerian Army, Major General Stevenson Olugbenga Olabanji was represented at the event.
This therefore call for all officers and soldiers to be more committed than ever, so that we can achieve the overall objective of bringing this menace across the nation to a favorable end.
Some soldiers who distinguished themselves in the course of their duties were also acknowledged and recognized through their outstanding performances. In Minna, I am Fatima Usman, NTA News.
The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has pledged to be fully involved in the campaign and reconciliation processes that would lead the party to victory in the Ekiti State governorship election slated for June this year. This was part of the party's governorship appeal panel's meeting in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
PDP National Chairman Yocha Ayu is chairman of the 25-member Ekiti State Governorship Appeal Panel.
Anybody that does otherwise will be considered as working against the PDP, so it will be regarded as anti-party.
Briefing the media after the panel's inaugural meeting in Abuja, the party spokesperson Debo Ologoagba said the winner of the party's governorship ticket, BC Kolawole, has started reaching out to other contenders in that election, and the party will soon commence its reconciliation process to ensure that all are in one accord going into the main election.
Now, the committee and the National Working Committee appeal to all stakeholders, especially those who participated in the primary election, leaders and the teaming members of the PDP in Ekiti State, to come together.
The appeal committee commended the governorship primary committee led by Governor Udomu Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State for conducting a free, fair, transparent and credible primary election. On the 2023 general election, the National Publicity Secretary disclosed that PDP is the party to beat and enjoined members of the party cutting across every divide to unite towards the attainment of the party's victory at the polls. Timothy Yusuf.
You can catch us live on our website nta.ng/live and on YouTube channel NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page NTA Network News, on Twitter at NTA News Now and Instagram NTA Network. Let's head to Makodi as we join Fatima.
Welcome to Makodi. All Progressive Congress APC women across Benue State, under the aegis of Amazon Prime, have staged a walk around some streets in Makodi, calling members and stakeholders of the All Progressive Congress APC to elect Senator George Akume as the party's national chairman in the forthcoming national convention. The women made the appeal in a solidarity rally tagged 1,000 Women Walk to support George Akume for APC chairman. Elias Itiav brings us the details.
The 1,000 Women Walk rally, organized by the Benue Amazon Prime, is to add their voice in support of the Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Senator George Akume, for his election as the national chairman of the All Progressives Party, whose national convention is slated for February 26th. According to the group, Senator Akume remains the best candidate for the party's national chairman owing to his antecedents, as he would bring his wealth of experience in piloting the affairs of the APC.
Benue women, APC women, and even other parties, that in one voice, we are calling on our President Muhammadu Buhari, that if he wants Benue State turned into one party system, he should give it to Akume. Akume is a man of peace. A man is the firstborn of Benue politics in North Central.
He's a bridge builder. He's the only person who can put Nigeria in one basket. Amen. And that is why we are saying, Mr. President, give us your support.
Wife of the aspirant, Mrs. Regina Akume, said, as a man of peace and a go-getter, Senator George Akume possesses the requisite party experience for the job.
Make Senator Dr. George Akume the national chairman of APC. Women with one voice.
The Solidarity Rally, which went round some major roads of Makurdi, the Benue State capital, drew women from the 23 local government areas of the state. In Makurdi, Elias Etiaf, NT News.
The wife of Ntalive, Professor Felicia Ayatse, has called on both private and corporate bodies to assist the internally displaced persons with material and educational needs. Professor Felicia stated this at the inauguration of a block of 3 classrooms donated to the Daudu IDP camp, Guma local government area of Benue State. Godwin Inalago reports that the project is in partnership with a non-governmental organization.
Education, they say, is key to success. If these displaced children, who are leaders of tomorrow, are deprived of their education, it means they have no successful future. This spurred the wife of Ntalive, Professor Felicia Ayatse, to provide a block of classrooms, as well as educational materials to enhance teaching and learning. The project, she said, began over 4 years ago when crises involving herdsmen and farmers displaced many indigents from their ancestral homes to settle in deplorable shelters.
We look forward to many more projects geared towards securing the future of these people.
Representative of Religious Freedom Coalition, William Murray, says his charity organization is happy to meet the educational need, especially of children who have no means of livelihood as a result of crisis.
To fulfill charity is to obey the law of Christ. And it is our duty to be here. It is our duty to help and to assist and to assure the future of every single child in this.
That's it from Makurdi. Nationwide continues in Ibadan with Kemi after this break.
Candidates who are interested in gaining admission into NTA Television College Jos for the 2021-2022 two-year National Innovation Diploma Program are to apply for admission through the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM. The courses available for application include film and television production, broadcast journalism, and television engineering technology. Such candidates must have a minimum of 5 O-level credits in relevant subjects including English language and mathematics. For more information, please contact NTA Television College, Jos, or the marketing department of any NTA station nationwide. Registrar, Announcer.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
I know that in the last decade, this country has been at different wars trying to keep the peace.
and promote the sovereignty and the integrity of the country. The troops are doing their best. The president has given them all the necessary tools. It is left for us as young people and as Nigerians to give them all the support we can. We say kudos to all our gallant military men. Please, whenever you see a police officer in or out of uniform, if you know them, clap for them whenever they need be. Give them seats in buses and trains and airplanes. Have the airline managers reduce air tickets for them or train tickets for them. Show them that we appreciate what they do and show their families that there is something right and honorable and truly remarkable about wearing a uniform and going into the bushes and the forest to fight enemies of this country that are hell-bent in bringing your life to an end. It's a very tough time, but we have to all put our hands together. Please support our troops and support our police officers.
Hello and a warm welcome to Ibadan. In a bid to ascertain the ease of the new e-passport collection process in the southwest, the Nigerian Immigration Service is on a monitoring exercise. To this end, a team of senior officers of the service were at the Ibadan office for a first-hand experience of the application process. Larry Bilay has details.
The Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, recently, the Nigerian Immigration has started the utilization of the facilities for passport applicants. These involving applying online for travel documents to cut out touts, bottlenecks, and makes the application process faster. Then there is the issue of backlog of applicants who had applied before the launch of the enhanced e-passport facility.
That is why I'm here, with about 30,000 booklets to come and clear the backlog. Before now, people go to the passport office, sit down 1 or 2 days, they don't know when they'll get enrolled or captured. But now, they have all been coming, especially with the introduction of the online payment and appointment system.
The Immigration Service urged Nigerians to come on board the new system geared towards improved service delivery.
It was very easy for me to use, and I preferred it than coming here myself because I could just log in on my phone, register, and pick an appointment date.
The monitoring exercise is ongoing at all service centers across the nation. In Ibadan, Larry Bilayi, NT News.
Nigerians have been charged to always recommend people of good character for recruitment into the Nigeria Police. Chairman Police Service Commission Musiliu Smith gave the charge at a one-day stakeholders meeting on police recruitment held in Ibadan. Correspondent Rafia Animashan Badmos has the details.
Stakeholders in policing, religious groups, traditional rulers, and social groups across Oyo and Osun states converged on Ibadan, where Police Service Commission discussed issues that affect citizens-police relationships. Chairman Police Service Commission noted that the Recruitment Sensitization Forum was created to enlighten people on the need to always recommend citizens of good character.
Applicants are not even well prepared, so that the majority of them, they even fail all the exams. That's why we say we should go around and let even the recruitment authorities in the states.
Speakers acknowledged that there is need for continuous training and retraining of police officers to improve the professional conduct of officers.
To improve the policing system, the policing structure or strategy of Nigeria.
Chairman Police Service Commission, however, charged Nigerians to always approach the Commission in the area of protecting the interests of the public and promoting the professionalism in Ibadan. Wofia Animashan Badmos, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. Nationwide continues in Abuja. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Kemi. Officers of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Abia State Command have intensified the war against illegal oil bunkering through crackdown of operations in Owaza, Okeohia Forest of Uku West local government area of Abia State. State Commandant Agbola Ayila says the recent operation, which lasted 7 hours, has disrupted the major supply chain of pipeline vandals and bunkers in the state. Steve Lonai Wankulu reports.
Successful operation codenamed Sting. Commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in Abia State, Anila Olowo, said the idea behind the operation is to put both the sellers and buyers of the stolen petroleum products out of business. And this his men have successfully achieved by destroying more than 10 processing lines, as well as blocking the source through which the fleeing operators siphoned petroleum products.
This operation was far-reaching, as we discovered a lot of illegal modular refineries. In fact, the level is just too high. And to God be the glory, we are able to destroy so many of these illegal modular refineries in the local government. It took me 4 months with my intelligence unit to gather intelligence on the activities of this funder. Having gathered enough intelligence, we now went on operation, which we could name OPS Sting.
Commandant Olowo, who lauded the gallantry and professionalism exhibited by his men before, during and after the Operation Sting, enjoined the youths in the area to engage themselves in legitimate means of livelihood and shun acts capable of jeopardizing their future. In Umuahia, Steve Lonai Waokolo, NTA News.
The recent video making the rounds on social media of a 29-year-old who stabbed his mother severely in Owerri for alleged money ritual has continued to generate reactions from Nigerians. What is most intriguing, however, is a twist in the online story as narrated by a family member. Let's now join Lorita Rinze Egwim as she brings us the update.
You see and talk, many people they talk to him. He failed his mission. That is what happened to him.
Nigerians were stunned when the video of a young man said to have stabbed his mother in an attempt to allegedly use her for money ritual hit the social media.
I thank you, Lord Jesus, for rescuing me. I thank you, Super Rebel, for rescuing me.
In search of the facts of the matter, which has continued to elicit reactions from Nigerians, NTA News visited the scene of the incident. This is the exact room where it all happened. Although the broken windows through which the suspect was said to have attempted to throw his mother has been replaced, the bloodstains, now dried up, are still there. The smart television set and the fruits alleged to have been brought by the mother are still littered on the floor. This flower pot and red cap, according to the family members, were portrayed on the social media as alleged objects for rituals. While social media account holds that the attack was that of a son attempting to use his mother for money ritual, a relation of the victim says the incident was grossly misrepresented.
Mr. Jachuku Mbachu is a God-fearing man, very decent guy, very quiet guy, and lovable. It's just a spiritual manipulation. This is not a ritual case. I must tell you the truth, and I can, swear with my life. If it's rituals, the guy wouldn't have stabbed himself and also stabbed the mom, because he was stabbing himself more than 8 times. Stabbed the mom the same number of times.
The suspect, 29-year-old Jachuku Mbachu, is a graduate of medical lab science from the Imo State University awaiting internship. His mother and victim of the incident, Edith Mbachu, is a pharmacist at the Federal Polytechnic Nekede Owerri. An attempt to reach her for her own side of the story proved abortive as she was still in hospital receiving treatment. While the accounts of the family and information trending on the social media vary, we sought to reach out to the Imo State Police Command for further clarifications.
So the victim happens to be, according to the family, that he is mentally retarded, and that was what actually happened. That he stays alone. The mother bought some fruit and took the fruit to him Unfortunately, he went wide and attacked the mother. I'm telling you what exactly happened. That's social media, they can say anything. But we, the police, supposed to be contacted.
All right, let's take you back to the report we called earlier of the National Assembly stands on oversight in the 2022 fiscal year, saying it will be rigid on revenue generation by ministries, departments and agencies. Ignatius Onkwa will give us the details now.
The last 2 weeks has been a period of engagement between the leadership of the Senate and various institutions of government. This time, it was an enlarged meeting with revenue-generating agencies. It was interactive but purposeful, basically to harp on the dire need for increased revenue generation so as to reduce budget deficit and borrowing going forward.
Our government-owned enterprises can generate, in fact, I think, up to 3 trillion. If we remain with that mindset, that we can achieve that.
We need to come up with various forms of initiatives to broaden your sources of revenue and block as much as possible the perceived leakages.
The Fiscal Responsibility Commission and the Senate stressed on the need for all agencies that are fully funded by government to ensure remittance of 100% of its revenue and 1% of total contract value to the federal government, and those that have capacity to be self-funded to exit from the budget.
The earlier the Fiscal Responsibility Act is amended completely, that will give more fillip to the efforts of this parliament to earn more revenue, sir.
Any agencies that are partly funded by the federal government is to the extent that the federal government will pay their personnel and give them some subvention in the area of capital. Are expected to pay 80% of whatever they accrue to them as operational surplus into the coffers of the government.
The Nigeria Customs Service observed that there are areas in the Finance Act 2021 that needs amendment, while the Nigeria Immigration Service sought the assistance of the Senate in terminating the outsourcing of its revenue collection, which deprives Nigeria huge sums of money.
This act is confusing, and if stakeholders decide to take leverage of this, they can decide to say, we are not supposed to collect duties and levies.
We achieve a collection of 6.4 trillion naira in 2021. We are going to leverage on all the strategies adopted.
Senate believes forensic audit of ministries, departments and agencies of government will provide a better picture of their revenue status. Meanwhile, the Senate Committee on Federal Character has screened Professor Ayo Omotayo for appointment as Director General of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The Egyptian pyramids are ancient masonry structures. They remain the world's oldest monumental structures, and more so, its linkage with religion. So the pyramids of Egypt and the pharaohs have a powerful connect that it invokes some mystical attraction. In this report, Anthony Forson, who was on the Minister of Information and Culture's entourage, shares his experience of the pharaohs' pyramids in Egypt.
The Great Pyramid of Giza is a huge pyramid built by the ancient Egyptians. It is the oldest of the 7 wonders of the ancient world and the only one to remain mostly intact. When it was built, it was 146.5 meters and 481 feet tall. It remains the tallest building in the world for over 3,800 years. However, visiting the Great Pyramids of Egypt is no small feat. When Lai Mohammed, in company of members of his entourage to Cairo, arrived to Giza to view the ancient pyramids, it was a rare opportunity. With its status now a tourist destination, these solid masses of stones have a passage which leads to the small subterranean burial chambers underneath. Between 2560 and 1311 AD, the Giza Pyramid holds a record of man's tallest building, which can't be broken. The shape of the pyramids may have been designed to evoke the rays of the sun streaming between heaven. Lai Mohammed and his delegation from Giza proceeded to the Egyptian Museum, where they were conducted around each and every one of the exhibits that has its own fascinating story. But the sheer number of items contained in the Egyptian Museum means it is necessary to be selective during a visit, with a major highlight as the famous pharaoh.
What the Egyptians today are enjoying, 5,000 years ago, some people built this pyramid, labored for their country, for their king, to put this magnificent edifice. It's been a learning experience for us, for me in particular. We have got to protect our heritage. The Egyptians are good at protecting their heritage. This is an Egyptian heritage. It is protected, and it brings a lot of pride to Egypt. In addition to the pride that it brings to Egypt, it brings a lot of resources to Egypt.
That you can keep history for the future and see how they are making a lot of money, how they, people come to see their history. So, the lesson I learned is we should go back home, and I'm happy that our minister is around, is with us here. Let's go back home and see what we can put together to make people come to our country, to tell our coming generation, and the present generation and the coming generation our history.
We have historical places that I think we need to make sure that we utilize them in the best way possible. These are money spinners. If we use them very well, Nigeria stands to get a lot of money from them.
Let's come back home. Calabar, the capital of Cross River State, is considered as the first unofficial capital city of Nigeria in the 19th century and regarded as the tourism hub of the country. Since the creation of the state, the ancient city was connected by just one single lane road, which most times becomes a nightmare to road users in and out of the city. That scenario is fast changing with the intervention of the state government to dualize the road, thus bringing succor to motorists and commuters. Let's hear more details from Paul Abel.
The 16-kilometer Calabar-Dukpane dual carriageway, though a federal government road, it is being executed by the Cross River State government through a direct labor engagement with a consortium of construction companies to mitigate the plight drivers and other road users encounter while coming into and going out of Calabar. The asphalt with thickness of 5 centimeters to be completed by the end of February 2022 to transform the socio-economic life of people in the state.
The main idea of embarking on this dual carriage road from metropolitan Calabar City to exit to the Odopani flyover arises from the huge challenge we had with the Odopani junction, where commuters spend 3, 4, 5 days on the road struggling to drive out.
The design and the execution of this project is like bringing Calabar City Center and Odopani together.
There is no other way of taking the economy in and out of Calabar. Social way of we are a tourist state.
NTA News also interacted with some road users on the significance of the road dualization.
The road is free now. I think business will move and the development and economic of the state.
When the road is completed, it will be very easy to access Calabar.
I'm very much appreciate my excellency because of the road.
With the good intention of the state government, the people are hopeful that the road will be durable and work will be completed as promised. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Being a federal higher institution in the nation's capital, University of Abuja is leveraging on that privilege to stand out in quality and standard for other universities to emulate. Vice-Chancellor, University of Abuja, Professor Abdulrashid Na'Allah, gave the commitment at a clinic on quality and standard put together by the Department of Political Science and International Relations of the university. As a seat of government, Abuja has a lot of political governance and activities taking place. Therefore, the Department of Political Science will make its impact felt.
You as a department must make a major shift from the past. How do you teach in a particular department and you're not bringing politicians, you're not bringing people who are making decisions, policy, to come into the classroom and interact with students? How do you do it? And you're in Abuja. That cannot fulfill the potentials of this university.
How do we create additional value to our programs, to our university, to our faculties, to our department, so that to actually maintain international standard? What is obtainable outside Africa, let us also have the benefit of that particular standard.
This will definitely enhance the quality of delivery in this department. It will help to also build the political ideology of this country.
It's organized for postgraduate students of the university. That's nationwide. Thank you very much for your company. Remember, together we can win the fight against rape and rapists. I'm Ruth Aguele. Have a good evening.